Okay, everyone. So we are all meeting today to help you understand what is your pathway to work as a registered nurse in Australia. This webinar is brought to you by Acumen in association with NETA, who is a registered college in Australia for nursing education and training. They are the leading providers for OSCE and NCLEX preparation. They also have a recruitment department that helps you get jobs and settle in Australia and get visas and PRs as well. So what we are trying to do today is provide you a one-stop solution, end-to-end partnership where you start with Acumen and in association with NETA, you are able to complete your registration in Australia. You're able to get the job and move to Australia, getting a work visa followed by PR. During the session, if you have any questions, feel free to post your questions in the chat box. If there is any difficulty in the technical problems during the webinar, please let us know. You can either raise your hand or type the problem in the chat box. So what we are going to cover today, first of all, we are going to look at in detail about the Acumen and NETA so that you know who you are dealing with and whether they are trustworthy enough or not. The second thing we'll be exploring today is the benefits of moving to Australia and the lifestyle that you're going to enjoy if you're working and staying there in Australia. We'll also be getting into the details of benefits that nurses get who are registered with the Australian Nursing Council and if they work as a registered nurse in Australia. We'll be getting in-depth knowledge about each step that you need to follow. And finally, we'll have some time for question and answer so that you can get answers to the queries that you might have during the session. Starting with who is Acumen. So we are basically a medical English school. We help you prepare for the English proficiency exam, which is occupational English test. Just like any other organization who needs to prove that what they are doing, they know what they are doing and they are good at they are doing, we also have OET Premium Preparation Provider certification, which means that the training that you will be getting from us is authorized by OET. We are the right person, right place to help you prepare for OET and ensure that you success in OET without having to take multiple attempts in OET. So the page you see on my slide right now has been taken from OET's website. If you go to OET's website, you will see Acumen is listed as a premium preparation provider on OET's website, which indeed means that our course materials, teaching techniques are authenticated by OET. Here is a glimpse of our classroom. We have small groups so that we can make sure we have individual focus on each of the candidate, and we help you guys individually to improve your English and make sure that you pass OET without having to take multiple attempts. Now, I'd like to introduce NETA. We have representatives of NETA joining us today. They are located in Australia, but they have their services online world over. So no matter where you are in the world, you can prepare with them for NCLEX and OSCE through their online student portal as well as the live online sessions. They also have their own labs for the preparation of OSCE. So I would be handing over this to Rosie now so that she can help you know more about Australia and know more about working as a registered nurse in Australia. Welcome, Rosie. Please take this
Hi,
forward.
Priya. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for introducing and thank you for organizing this webinar. I might share my slides. I'll need access for sharing the slides. Until then, I'll just introduce myself. Hi, everyone. I'm Rosie. I work here at College of NETA, and I'm based in Australia at the moment. So today we'll be discussing about your pathway to become a registered nurse in Australia. Can you all see my screen? Okay, so College of Nursing Education and Training Australia, we are based in Australia, and our main office is based on Wagga Wagga, New South Wales, but we do also provide services in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide. By the way, we also do have our representative from College of NETA, so we do have Carla from marketing here, and we do have Mikai somewhere here, but yes, we are present here to welcome you. Moving on to the fast fact about College of NETA. So we are the leading provider for NCLEX and OSCE in Australia, and we will provide you from start till the end support from your OBA preparation, starting the registration process, till you get your employment. So College of NETA is awarded as the most trusted nursing education for overseas nurses in 2022. We were also awarded as the NCLEX and OSCE review provider for overseas nurses of the year in 2022. So this is a lab of College of NETA. At Wagga, we do have labs in different cities as well, but yes, this is a lab here at Wagga, and you'll have everything you need in the facility. You'll be guided by educators throughout the process and throughout your preparation. So why Australia? Since you've all joined this information session, so you must be already interested in Australia, and you might have already researched why do you want to go Australia. So maybe we can discuss a little bit about why Australia and what's the benefit. So Australia is the most livable country in the world. So as per the Quality Index conducted on 2022, Australia is the most livable countries, and it is ranked under number 4. So you'll have, Australia is really like multicultural. There are people from different places. There are lots of opportunities available. So you don't feel it different. It is really nice to work and live here in Australia. Healthcare system is world-class and free. Once you're a permanent resident, then you will be able to access this free healthcare. So you'll be given a Medicare card, which will cover your health expenses. So this is for the public sector though, but if you want to go to private sector, then you'll have to pay on your own. But yes, if you go through the public sector, then the healthcare system is free for you. Free education. Once you're permanent residents, your children will have a free education. So there are lots of schools in nearby towns or suburbs, which is free of cost. Again, it's for public schools. If you'd like to, enroll your kids or family in the private school, then you'll have to pay extra. But yes, public schools are free here in Australia. The work-life balance. Normally the working hour here in Australia per day is 8 hours. So you'll have other like remaining times for you and for your family. So you can spend it however you like. You can either go and visit nearby places, or you can do the things that you like during the leisure time. So you'll have a proper work-life balance here. And also once you've started working and once you are a full-time worker, you'll be entitled for 4 weeks of leave where you can enjoy your holiday with your family. Friendly people. As far as my experience in Australia, I have encountered lots of people here in Australia, and they're really friendly. They're willing to help, and you just have to reach out to them. Even if you walk in the street, they smile at you, say good morning, good evening. So the peoples are really friendly here, and the families are also great here. They like to socialize, they like to connect. So the peoples here are really friendly. Vibrant and safe community. So most of the people here in Australia, they work like office hours and they have leisure time in the evening. So the environment here in Australia, or the nightlife or evening life here in Australia, is completely safe. This is few of the pictures that you can see on the slides. The people are out in the evening, they're enjoying. So it is completely safe, and you don't have to worry about safety. Great weathers, 4 seasons with sunlight and great blue skies. So you can find autumn, spring, winter. Here you can enjoy all of the seasons. Currently it's I think spring at the moment here, so it's really beautiful outside. So you'll be able to enjoy all of those weathers with your family and friends. Why do you want to work as nurses in Australia? So maybe you all are graduating soon, or you've already graduated your nursing bachelor's of nursing. So you have already decided that you'll work as a registered nurse here in Australia, or some of you are already working in your home country. So let's see why you work as nurse in Australia. What are the benefits and what are the services that you'll get after working here as a registered nurse? So nurses are in demand. If you can see in the chart, you can see the number of nurses like as per the age. So as per the age 60 to 64, there are 41,326 registered nurses. The age between 65 to 69 is 23,230. And the age between 70 to 74 is 6,545, and 75 to 79 is 1,447. 80 plus is 265. So altogether, there are 72,813 people who are retiring soon, or who are at the age of retirement. So these will all be the shortfall. There will be vacancies for all of these nurses. So Australia, the nurses, the job as a registered nurse is in demand, and there is a huge gap to fill. Let's talk about the salary. So there is attractive salary for registered nurses. I'll just explain you a bit about what is the pay rate like in Australia. So the experiences and pay rates are related. So if the pay rate will depend upon the number of experiences you have. Suppose for the first year of RN, the basic rate is 35.32, and if you work evening shifts, you'll get 12.5% more on top of your base salary. If you work on night shift, 15% more. If you work on Saturdays, 17.6. That is 50% more. And if you work on Sundays, that is 75% more on your base salary, on top of your base salary. And if you work on public holidays, it's 150%. So on top of your base salary. So this is the basic and average number, the salary rate of registered nurses in Australia. So as your year increases, year of experience increases, the pay rate also increases. So the salary in Australia for registered nurses is really good. Rewards and remuneration. So as I already mentioned, it depends on your experience and qualification. And NETA recruitment can help you find job in any locations, as we have partnered agent in different places of Australia in all states. So we can help you find job in the preferred locations. Talking about the pay scale. So the pay scale pre-registration. So if someone is working as an assistant in nursing, then it's 30 to 45. Post-registration is 35 to 52 once you've registered as a registered nurse. The working hours, the average working hours is 36 to 38 per week. That's a full-time hours here in Australia. So the full-time hours that normally people work is 38 hours. That is a 76 hours a fortnight. And you'll be able to earn more if you're working on holidays, like bank holidays and Sundays. On top of that, there are lots of remunerations, like you'll be getting salary sacrifice benefit, which is like a tax deduction out of your salary. So there are certain numbers, like there are certain amounts that you don't have to pay tax, and only the remaining payments will be taxed. There is a salary sacrifice, and also there are lots of facilities like relocation if you're going to rural or regional areas. Some of the employers will cover the visa expenses, which I'll be talking in the later slides. So nurses are empowered in Australia. So nurses are independent. The nurses can take decision, and the nurses are really valued here in Australia, as the doctors also take, feedback from nurses, because nurses are in direct control or direct contact with the client, so they know the clients better. So the nurses here in Australia are respected and trusted to their decisions. So don't waste your time and money on student visa. Permanent residency to citizenship made easy for nurses. As I already mentioned, that the demand for registered nurses are 70,000 and above. So you do have a straightforward pathway, which is the OBA pathway outcome-based assessment through NCLEX and OSCE. So if you do those 2 tests and the English test, then once you have the registration, you can directly apply for permanent residency. So you don't have to spend like hefty amounts of money for the student visa while you already have this pathway in place. This pathway is like the most affordable and the fastest pathway to get your registration. So I would highly recommend everyone to go through this pathway rather than spending lots of funds on the student visa. I would recommend, I think Priya will be taking over from this slide.
Yeah, sure. So after knowing the benefits of working as a registered nurse in Australia, naturally the next question you would have is, how do I become a registered nurse, or how do I move to Australia and start working there as a registered nurse? Let me help you through the process. Exactly what are the steps that you will need to take if you want to work as a registered nurse in Australia. So the first step would be to prove your language proficiency. You can do this either through IELTS, OET, or PTE, but OET is considered to be the most preferred English exam by healthcare professionals. So the first step for all of you will be to get an OET B level. The next step is to get a registration with the nursing council. Like right now, wherever you are working, you are registered with that nursing council. If you want to start working in Australia, you need to register yourself with NMBA, which is Nursing and Midwifery Board of Australia, along with APRA, which is a healthcare regulators body of all the healthcare professionals in Australia. And the final step for you will be to find a job and get the visas. We are going to get into the details of each of these steps now, starting with OET. So as some of you have already mentioned in the chat box, you guys have either started preparing for OET or have taken OET and waiting for the results, and there are some of you who haven't yet started. So this is particularly for those of you who haven't started with the language proficiency exam as yet. Let me explain you what is there in OET, what is the occupational English test. Basically, it has 4 modules: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Through these 4 modules, the healthcare boards want to know if you are competent enough in communicating in English with your patients when you start working there. So what do you have in the listening test is you will be listening to consultations between healthcare professionals and patient, and those healthcare professionals and patients will be speaking in different accents. So the listening test will be assessing your ability to understand different accents and your ability to understand the native speech. Reading exam, on the other hand, looks at your ability to comprehend the text. When you would start working in countries where English is the main language, naturally all the documents, your work-related documents such as guidelines, protocols, policies, emails, everything would be in English. So the healthcare regulatory boards want to ensure that you are able to understand the written instructions clearly. And therefore, in the reading exams, you will be exploring these kind of documents and will be answering multiple choice questions based on that to prove that you can read English appropriately and your comprehension is accurate. Then you have the writing exam, which assesses your ability to write in English, and the speaking exam, which assesses your fluency and how comfortable you are while communicating in English. Now, as I said, there are three different options to prove your language proficiency. You can either take IELTS or PTE, which is a general English exam, or OET. Now, what is the difference between a general English exam and OET? If you were to take any general English exams like IELTS or PTE, a typical question in writing would be writing an essay. And it can be on any general topic such as on history or on environmental issues, on global warming, or it can be on social issues like the use of social media. Naturally, being a nurse, you would not be that familiar with those kind of issues. In OET, on the other hand, the that you will be getting, the task that you will be getting in OET writing, would be writing a referral letter, which is something you are already familiar with. You know that whenever a patient is transferred from one facility to another facility, we write a letter to another facility explaining them about the patient's condition and explaining them about the required care. So in the OET writing exam, you will be provided with clinical notes, and using those notes, you will be writing either a referral or a discharge letter to another healthcare professional. The same in the speaking exam. If you were to take general English speaking exam, the questions will be on general topic such as describe your visit to a museum, describe the movie that you have recently watched. Now, it is highly likely that you might not be familiar with the history language or the vocabulary related to history or the vocabulary related to reviewing a movie in English. However, you are very much familiar with all the language or all the vocabulary that is used in medical English. So what you will need to do in the OET speaking exam is you will be talking to a patient and most probably explaining them about the disease condition that they are suffering from. Or you might be taking history about their condition. Or you might be educating them on taking their medications correctly or making lifestyle modification. So the topics in both writing and speaking will be tailored to your profession and which would make it comparatively easier for you to pass the exam as compared to any general English exam. So why most healthcare professionals nowadays choose OET over other English exams? The first reason is recognition. OET, if you pass OET successfully, the certificate is valid in the US, in the UK, Australia, New Zealand for both registration as well as immigration and visa purposes. So you don't need to take a separate English test for getting work visa or PR. You can use your current English test. If you have passed OET, you can use the same certificate both for registration with the Nursing Council and for the visa purposes. Another reason why it is so popular amongst healthcare professionals is it is relevant and the students are familiar with the context. All the questions that you get in the OET exam are related to healthcare. So the subject will be familiar, the vocabulary will be familiar, the context will be familiar, which would make it much more relevant to your current practice and your future practice as compared to a general English exam. For example, while preparing for IELTS or PTE, you might learn vocabulary related to history or global warming, which you are nowhere going to use at your workplace. Whereas while you are preparing for OET, you will be learning how to write a referral letter, you will be learning how to have a consultation with your patient. These are the skills which you will actually need when you start working as a healthcare professional in the countries like Australia, where all these speakers, all your patients will be speaking English as their first language. or even if they have moved from somewhere to Australia, the only language which is common between you and your patient will be English. So preparing for OET it is not just passing an exam, it actually prepares you for the challenges that lie ahead when you start working in another country as a nurse. Along with that, when you will be taking your OSCE exam, there also communication skills matter. So we have seen from our experience that if somebody is going to OSCE after passing their OET, they have a high success ratio, mainly because of a strong hold on their communication skills. And the final reason why OET is a most preferred option is because students feel confident. Naturally, you feel confident about while you are speaking about things which you have in-depth knowledge in. So most of you have studied at least 3 to 4 years into nursing, and that is the reason you are familiar with the topic, and that will give you confidence while taking the test, and it will also improve chances of success, mainly because during the exam you are confident of what you are doing, what you are saying, what you are writing. Now, it is once you have passed OET, what is next? What are the next exams that you need to give? What are the assessments that you are required to complete? And what are the few further steps in terms of getting the exams passed and getting the certification? I would again request Rosie to take you forward from here.
Okay, so after you do PT or while you are doing PT, it's okay to start the process. So the first step will be self-check from APRA. You can contact us or you can contact Acumen. We can help you do self-check. So what you do in self-check is you just enter what qualification you completed, which university did you complete it from, which year did you graduate, and what registration are you after. So you just have to complete all of those and create account in APRA. So once you create account in APRA, your dashboard will have 6 steps. So the first step will be IQNM fee. So you'll have to pay IQNM fee. The fee will be 410 Australian dollar. Once you make the payment, you'll move to the second step, which is the orientation part 1. In this section, it's a recorded video. You just have to watch this video and complete. You can resume, pause, and finish it on your own time. But this orientation part will take like 2 to 3 hours of your time. And you don't have to pay anything in this orientation part. So once you complete this orientation, you'll move to portfolio stage. Again, there is no fee associated in this portfolio stage. So in this step, you'll be certifying your documents, your academic documents, your ID and registration from your home country. So you just have to certify or notarize these documents and upload it in your portal, the APRA portal that you have created while doing self-check. Once the portfolio is assessed by APRA, it might take 3 to 6 weeks for APRA to assess your documents. So once that's done, you'll move to NCLEX, which is MCQ multiple choice questions. The fee for these NCLEX is $350 US. You will be paying it in 2 parts. So once you get approval from APRA regarding your portfolio stage, then you'll be applying for ATT, which is authorization to take the test letter. It's a letter. So you just have to apply it through Pearson VUE, and you'll be paying $200 US to apply ATT. Once you receive ATT, that ATT will be valid for 3 months. The standard time is 3 months, but due to COVID, they've extended until 6-month time. So you'll have to book and give your exam before your ATT expires. And to book your exam, you'll have to pay $150 US. So altogether, you'll be paying $350 US for NCLEX. The test center is available in India. I think there are 4 or 5 test centers in India, so you don't have to travel anywhere for this exam. Once you pass NCLEX, then you'll move to OSCE stage. So OSCE is the practical exam, and it is conducted in Australia. So there are 2 test centers for this OSCE. One is in Melbourne and another one is in Adelaide. So the fee for this OSCE exam, OSCE exam is 4,000 Australian dollar. It's a one-day exam. Once you pass OSCE, then you'll move to the last step, which is apply for registration. And you will be paying 489 Australian dollar to apply for registration. Along with that, you'll need to submit a few of your documents like your identity, passport, again, your registration if you haven't submitted, and your English score, or your OET score. Once that's done, you'll get registration within 2 to 3 months' time. So this is the 6 steps that you'll have to go once you start the process. So you can do self-check and prepare OET and NCLEX side by side. It's up to you. So let's talk about the cost that is associated with this registration process. So for OET, it's 25 to 35K. And you need to contact Acumen for that. And for OET exams, it's 587 Australian dollar. As mentioned earlier, for IQ&M fee, you'll be paying 410 Australian dollar. For OBA, NCLEX and OSCE coaching fee that you'll be taking with NETA, that you'll be paying 3,400 all in total for NCLEX and OSCE. The NCLEX exam fee is 350 US dollar. The OSCE exam fee is 4,000 Australian dollar, and the registration fee is 489. So it's on an average, it's 500 Australian dollars, say. So that's the total fee that you'll be spending. So let's talk about what's included in 3,400 package. So if you would like to take 31, that's fine as well, but we highly recommend you to take 3,400. So what's included in this is NCLEX is delivered online. So you can take these classes from anywhere. It is delivered via Zoom. So if you take OBA standard, the payments can be made in installment. So you can pay 800 when you enroll, 500 in 15 days of enrollment, and 1,800 after passing NCLEX. That's before joining OSCE. For this OBA standard, so you have NCLEX Complete Online Access Plus. So this will include access to your learners portal that will have lessons, recorded video, practice test, mock test, readiness test, which you can do anytime you like, and it will give you rationals and scores on how much did you get. So you'll be able to track your performance. And with this standard package, you'll have 1 year of unlimited access for NCLEX. So you can keep attending the classes and you can take as long as you want to prepare for NCLEX. And you'll have the unlimited support by NETA educator. So you can reach out to educator via email, or you can call during the office hour for NCLEX. Once you pass NCLEX, then you'll start preparing for OSCE. So for OSCE, we do have Complete OSCE Plus. This will include access to your learners portal until you pass. You'll have access to your learners portal. There will be recorded lessons available, which you can watch anytime you like. There will be 2 weeks of online classes via Zoom. So you can, we run this 2 weeks of classes every cycle. So you'll be able to join every cycle until you pass. And once you have the test date, then you'll have to let us know and we will book your face-to-face session. So you'll be doing this face-to-face session in Australia. You'll also have a free practice materials once you're here in Australia. And you'll also have the weekly online catch-up with educator via Zoom. So there will be weekly catch-up with educator where the educator will explain or discuss one scenario a week. So you'll be able to practice with your friends and educator. There will be briefing and final coaching before your test date. And this is unlimited until you pass, as mentioned earlier. For 3,400, so what's the difference between 3,100 and 3,400 is on NCLEX part. So for NCLEX, you'll have all the facilities of these Complete Online Access Plus. On top of that, you'll have 5 days of intensive coaching class, which is a revision of whole course. So you'll be attending Wednesday classes. You'll have unlimited access to your learners portal. After you finish 12 Wednesday classes, then you'll have 5 full days of intensive coaching class. That is unlimited until you pass, so you can keep attending. Once you book your test date, you'll have to let us know, and the educator will schedule a policing session. So what happens in this policing session is this is a one-on-one meeting with educator, where educator will recommend if you're ready for the exam or not. And for this OBE Advanced, you'll have unlimited access until you pass for NCLEX and OSCE both. So for OSCE, you have the same facilities as of 3100. So we highly recommend you to get 3400. The installment payment for 3400 will be, you'll be paying 800 when you enroll, 800 in 15 days of enrollment, and 1800 after passing NCLEX. That's before joining OSCE. So you don't have to pay all in full, you just pay it in installment. So since you've attended these sessions, those who are ready to enroll, then you'll be getting 5% off, which is valid until 31st of May. For those who are yet graduating, contact us when you are graduating or when you are ready to enroll. We might have better offer than this one, or we might have any other offer, as our offer keeps on changing. So at the time of enrollment, we will note it down that you've attended this session, so we will know that. And also there will be, as mentioned, the offers are changing every time, so we will accommodate as per the offer that time. But those who are ready to enroll, start the process, then you will be eligible for 5% off, and it's valid until 31st of May. So all in total, you're investing about 8,900 Australian dollar. And we've already discussed how much is the pay for a registered nurse before. So when you start working as a registered nurse, you can get this amount, or you can return this amount within 2 to 3 month time. It won't take you long. You'll be able to cover your costs. And also there are lots of benefit, as mentioned earlier. So there will be lots of benefits, and you'll be covering this cost within 2 to 3 months. So start your process now. So these are a few of our passers. You can also be one of them. So if you start now, then you should be able to finish it within 6 to 9 month time if everything goes right. Also, before that, I would like to, I just forgot to mention here that the OSCE exam is conducted in Australia. So you will have to apply for tourist visa, business stream, to come to Australia and give the exam, also attend the preparation course, the face-to-face part. So once you make the payment, 4,000 Australian, the OSCE fee to APRA, they will send you eligibility letter to apply for the visa. And once enrolled with us as well, we will provide you a letter of enrollment. So you can apply, you can use those two supporting documents to apply for your visa. And if you need help with applying visa, then we can connect you to our partnered migration agent, who will be able to help you with your visa application. So once you're here, we do have NETA recruitment in place. We'll be able to help you with your employment. So once you have your OSCE result, while you wait for your registration, it will take around 8 to 12 weeks time for getting your registration. So to utilize those time, our NETA recruitment will introduce you with employers. So you will have interviews, you'll have contracts in place, and as soon as you have the registration, then you can start working as a registered nurse. So with the NETA recruitment, we do have employers in all the states. So it can be in a city, or it can be in metro, it can be in regional. So depending upon the availability at the time of your application, we will give you options, and it's up to you where do you want to go. But yes, it depends. The position also get filled really fast. So it really depends at the time of your application. So does the benefits from each employers, because the employers, different employers has different benefits for their employees. So it really depends on which employer is available at that time, and the benefit that they provide at the time of your application. So So, yep, College of NETA and Acumen are there to help you all the way from a registration to employment. So I will request Priya to continue from this slide.
Sure. So basically, as we were discussing earlier, most of the candidates here in Gujarat are not familiar with this OBA pathway and they end up getting student visas. Um, as we compare the student visa with OBA, the expense involved in the student visa is really high. And at the same time, it is a time consuming process because when you are there doing your master's, you will not be able to work full time. You don't get registration straight away, and therefore there will be limitations in terms of how many hours you can work and the reimbursement of the money that you have already invested in a master's course. So this is the reason why we have associated with NETA so that we can provide a pathway for students straight away to registration. And along with that, you will be able to get PR as well. If you are working as a registered nurse in Australia, once you get registration, within 1 year of your registration, you will be able to apply for PR. It would hardly take 1.5 years for you to get permanent residency in Australia. So this is the reason why this collaboration is brought to you. If you are not already following our Facebook page, I would highly recommend that you follow our Facebook page. It will help you understand the candidates' stories who have already gone through this process, who are now working as a nurse in different part of the world. We help you just not with the Australia, but if you are interested in other pathways like moving to UK, Ireland, New Zealand, or Australia, we can definitely help you there. And for all these countries, we provide you end-to-end pathway, starting from your English proficiency exam to getting registrations and getting visas as well. So if you're not already following, please follow our Facebook page for the more updates and for the upcoming events that we will be holding on our Facebook page and through Zoom as well. This is NETA's Facebook page where you will be able to find specifically the stories of nurses who have moved to Australia and who are working as a registered nurse in Australia, and they went through the process through NETA. So they were, with NETA for preparing for NCLEX, preparing for OSCE, and now they are finally registered nurse in Australia. I'm sure these stories will inspire you to work hard and work your way forward to get registration in Australia. If you scan this QR code, it will lend you to NETA's Facebook page. You can start following NETA for more updates about them. Now, I'm sure that you would have some questions from the information that has been provided to you so far. So we have some time for question and answer. There are some questions in the chat box, so I would be asking those to Rosie so that she can help you with more information. But if you have more questions, feel free to type them in the chat box, or you can raise your hand, unmute yourself, and ask questions. So the first question that I can see here, Rosie, is why tourist visa and not working visa? So this is when they are coming to Australia for OSCE, why they will not get a work visa or a student visa, and why would they be getting a tourist visa?
Okay, so firstly, tourist visa is it will only cost you like 200 Australian dollar, like 150 to 200 Australian dollar. That's really cheap and that's really affordable. For student visa, as mentioned, you'll have to pay heftier fee. If you're coming for Masters of Nursing, say, then you'll be paying like 90,000 just for the master's course. On top of that, you'll have to do OBA, which is 8,900 approximately. So you are spending about like more than like around 100K. So that's really expensive. This pathway, as mentioned earlier, is the cheapest and the like affordable fees. With affordable fees and affordable affordable preparation course, and pathway for all the nurses. I would say it's budget friendly. And with regard to working visa, not all employers will sponsor you for a work visa. As you are already in the process of OBA, some of you have started or some of you might not have started, you'll be registered nurse in 6 month time. So even if the employer sponsored you, you will be working under AIN for 6 months and then upgrading to RN, which is like the processing time for sponsorship for AIN, it will take you around 6 month time. So it's not worth for employers to spend like 6 months and then again they have to change it to registered nurse. So it's not feasible for the employers as well. So they are looking into those who have already taken OSCE or who have already passed OSCE, and so they can directly hire them for the registered nurse position.
Okay, and to further clarify what Rosie has just explained, the tourist visa is only for the period until you pass OSCE. Once you pass OSCE, you are eligible to get the work visa. You don't have to wait until the registration. AFRA knows that you have passed OSCE, so you are going to get registration. So the tourist visa that we are talking about right now, it allows you to go there, prepare with NETA college for your OSCE for the practicals, and take the OSCE exam because it happens in Australia. Once you pass the exam, you will be getting 1 year work visa and you can start working there. And within that 1 year of your work visa, you can apply for PR. So it's not that you are going on tourist visa, you are just utilizing tourist visa to take OSCE, and then it is followed by work visa and PR.
Yeah, so once you pass OSCE, then our recruitment team can help you finding employment, as well as if you are looking into sponsorship for work visa, then that can be arranged as well. Some of depending upon the employer, some of the employers will fund your visa processing for the sponsorship as well. So it really depends, and there are lots of opportunities once you pass OSCE.
So I hope that answers your question, Tarjani. There's another question which says, what is the process for someone who is already working as a registered nurse in the UK?
Okay, so have you passed NCLEX? So did you complete your Bachelor's of Nursing in UK? If not, then the candidate has to go through OBA. The same process applies to you. If you have already passed NCLEX, then you'll have to transfer your score from your nursing board to APRA, and you'll be moved to OSCE stage. So you'll skip NCLEX part, and you'll just have to do OSCE and apply for registration. I hope that answers your question, but if you have any questions, you can write it in the chat box or unmute yourself.
Yeah, if you have a follow-up question, feel free to add it in the chat box or unmute yourself and ask a follow-up question, Monushri. Okay, so the next question we have is, what about the diploma nurses? Are they eligible for this pathway?
No, those students, the for OBA pathway, the candidate must have Bachelor's of Science in Nursing 4 years to apply for registration. So if they have Diploma of Nursing, then they might be eligible for enrolled nurse. But yes, they really have to submit their documents to APRA and check. At the moment, we only help registered nurses, so we don't have a program for enrolled nurses.
Yeah, so Monushri, if somebody has completed B.sc Nursing outside of Australia, outside of UK, the process remains the same. So as far as I understand, from India you have moved to the UK, and that is the reason the pathway for you also will be the same, taking NCLEX RN, that is the theory exam, taking OSCE for the registration. So OBA pathway would be the right pathway for you as well. Okay, there is a follow-up question to that, Rosie. What if someone has moved from India to the UK and they have 1 year experience of working as a registered nurse in the UK. Do they still need to go through the OBA pathway?
So sorry, did she complete her bachelor's in UK? Did you say?
No, in India.
So she has to go through OBA.
Yeah.
Experience, it will matter during the employment stage, but also freshly graduates, they are able to get the employment as well. So you don't really need work experience for OBA or even employment. It is beneficial to have like experience, but it's not compulsory.
I think it would be helpful, Rosie, if you can give a quick insight into the streams. Like all these candidates who have completed B.sc Nursing would, in India, would fall
Yep.
in stream B, right? So, who are the candidates who might not need to take OBA pathway? If we can
Okay.
clarify.
Yeah, so those candidates who fall, there are stream A, B, and C. Stream A are those students who have completed Bachelor's of Nursing in Australia, US, New Zealand, Canada, and UK. So they don't have to take OBA pathway. They are eligible to apply for registration directly through stream A. If you've completed your Bachelor's of Nursing outside of these countries, then all of you will fall under stream B candidate, which means you'll have to go through OBA pathway and NCLEX and OSCE and get your registration. The stream C, they are not eligible to apply for registration.
And those are the candidates probably who don't have bachelors of nursing. One
Yeah,
category of the candidates who fall in stream C are the one who don't have bachelors in nursing. So all the diploma or GNM candidates are not eligible for the OBA pathway.
yes, correct.
Okay. So I think the questions, this were the questions. I don't see any further question. Students, please feel free to type if you have any questions. If you don't have any questions, please type all good so that we know it is the right time for us to end the webinar. Feel free to unmute yourself if you want to ask a question.
Also, after registration, if you meet the point, then you'll be able to apply 190, 189, which is a direct PR. If you're looking into sponsorship, then there are opportunities available depending upon the employer. So there will be 482 pathway or 186 pathway for the eligible candidates. So it really depends on the time of your application, which visas options will be available, and it also depends on the case by case basis. So we really have to look into application at the time.
Yeah, and if we compare it with the process that you have in the UK, although you might think that it is cheaper because you don't have to invest so much if you are moving to the UK, but if you look at the other side of it, in the UK, you are not able to get PR so quick. You have to wait until 5 years until you can apply for the PR. And if you compare the salary that you get as a registered nurse in Australia, it is comparatively higher than the UK. So yes, you're investing a lot in the beginning, but then considering the benefits that you will be getting, you will be able to recover the amount that you have invested in just 2 to 3 months of working as a registered nurse in Australia. And the second benefit is a quick pathway to PR. You don't have to wait very long until you can apply for the PR. Okay, we have some questions coming in. Okay, so what if somebody has completed post-basic BSc? Are they eligible for stream B pathway?
So post basic BSc, before that, like has he or she completed any course before post basic?
Yeah, so they generally here in India, they take diploma course and after that they have a 2 year post-basic BSc nursing course, which is considered equivalent to BSc nursing here in India.
Then the answer would be doing self-check. You really have to enter your details in the APRA's website and put your diploma details and post basic as well. And it will give you answer if you're eligible or not. So just contact Priya or contact us and we can help you do self-check.
And there's one more question here. If somebody has done masters in nursing, will they get any additional benefit?
For registration, there is no additional benefit, but in terms of employment, there might be some benefits.
Okay, so your master's degree will be considered when you are applying for the jobs, but when you are applying for the registration, you have the same pathway as the B.sc nurses. Hemangi, okay. So Rosie, Hemangi is requesting a little bit more information about NCLEX. Is it a theory exam? That's
Yes,
what she's
NCLEX is a
asking.
theory exam. So it's like PTE where you go in front of the computer. It's computer adaptive test. So it's a multiple choice questions. So you just have to answer those. And it is assessed by the computer. So it's a theory exam. OSCE is a practical exams where you'll have to perform in front of the examiner and you'll have to perform 10 skills.
Thank you, Rosie. Okay, so I think this is the right time for us to end the session. I don't see any further questions coming in. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. I'm sure you found this session informative. If you have further questions, you can definitely contact either us at Acumen or NETA. Both the ways you will be able to get the required information that you need. And you have our contact details. Please follow our Facebook page so you'll be able to find our contact details, email address, as well as the phone number so that you can contact us straight away. Yeah, Rosie, if you have any concluding remarks to make.
Thank you everyone for joining in. I would recommend who are ready, who have already completed the bachelor's, just start right away. Don't waste the time. It will just take like 6 to 9 month time. So start the process and we're there to help from start till the end. So we are there to guide you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you everyone. Thank you. Sure, we will be getting back to all of you regarding the post-basic B.sc nursing, whether you are eligible for OBA process or not. We have taken that into consideration, and we will be sending you an email answering this question. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for
Thank
joining.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.